Hey, Lorenzo here. Welcome back. Episode 14 coming up right now. Actually, it's not coming up. You're watching it already. Surprise, surprise. Here we go. What do we have? We have the Behemoth 2, the Greiswolf built spaceship carrying, I think, 3 comsats, but the fairing is now closed. And we're continuing our mission from the previous episode to launch probe to Theluma, which actually is on its way already. Let's have a quick look at the map view. Here we go, 2 probes, one deprecated one. This one has deprecated. Yeah. The older one with lots of antennae and the newer one with a big antennae. Hopefully first part of a relay situation. Anyway, what we're gonna do is launch the Behemoth and shoot 3 comsats in between this gap. Into the gap between Theluma and Gale, hopefully bridging the communications problem that may or may not occur. Looking forward to the next episode. What I want you to do is build a ship that is capable of visiting Seti, the other one, and Thalia from the contract. Let's have a look. Iota, Seti, and Thalia. Twice, but you know, hopefully the mission can complete. We got the same missions for different suppliers, and it doesn't have to be manned, and it's probably not going to be manned because look at our funds. It's really low. It's gonna have to be cheap, 80 grand to do that. Note that it doesn't specify return to Gale, so anything that can fly by Thalia, even if it doesn't have the antenna, that's fine. We can set up the encounter from here and just watch it go by and collect the money, I think. Anyway, that's for the future. Let's launch this one and spam some satellites, litter space full of debris. 3, 2, 1, lift off. Interestingly, we are using a whole bunch of engines. We're using the swivel liquid fueled ones, we're using the mainsail, no, the skipper actually, as boosters, and 3 of the good old staple solid boosters that I think have been in the game since the very first public version. Anyhow, our fairing is fairly blunt. We're pushing a lot of air out of the way, but you know, what has air ever done for us? So let's push it out of the way. Post haste. Those boosters incinerating one of their own and then going on as bombs to the launch pad. We have great janitors, the best, just great people that clean up the launch pad after every launch, just shoveling off half-burning rocket fuel. I don't know what I'm saying. These boosters, let's see what's gonna happen. The next thing that's gonna happen is the separation of these 3 outer tanks, and then we will move to the center core, which is actually fairly thin. Also, we need to turn over because this thing is hauling. This is a space truck. This is like the Tesla Semi, which has amazing acceleration and weird handling because I'm wrenching it over just very, very heavy-handedly inside the atmosphere with this blunt tip. Fortunately, the engines have all the control authority in the world to fix this. Also, there is not a engineering chip on board. That's Greiswolf for ya. You know, they leave the avionics up to the customer. So we're just gonna have to eyeball things. Going from my eyeballs, they're on fire. So let's pitch up a little bit more, or maybe throttle back even. That's, you know, a radical idea. Yeah, so the fire has gone out. That's good. We can throttle back up then. We're at 50 kilometers, not quite in orbit yet, but it won't be long, I don't think, because we have a lot of engines here. The next thing, yeah, is ditching these 3. They are now depleted, so let's go ahead and ditch them. Oh my god, that was close. Almost had a ship disintegration there. This one is looking nice and spindly, like ready for interplanetary transfers. Not so ready for maneuverings, but, you know, let's shut down these engines and see. Ooh, very noodly. And see what we're working with here. We are not quite in orbit yet, but we have some time to get rid of our fairings and deploy our things. Let's deploy the Airstream protective shell. That's deployed there. These, of course, are the 3 relay satellites that we have. Let's turn on the lights because we can. Ooh, they're lit in a very non-evil way. These antennae I've deployed now. Let's deploy the solar panels. Because of course we need juice for those delicious lights. So here is what we're going to do with this rocket. We're going to put it in orbit, obviously. We're not in orbit yet. We're still crashing back to Gale, albeit slowly. We're going to put it in an orbit. Then we want to launch these 3 satellites, but not all at once. So we're going to put it in a highly elliptical orbit and just kick them out one by one as time progresses. And hopefully that will allow everything to go well. What do we have here? Lots of batteries. That's fine. Oh yeah, of course, this thing still drops away after it's depleted, which won't take that long. And then we have a more compact rocket to yeah. I like the look of this. It's a bit noodly, but you know, it's a nice long spaceship, and they're like long spaceships. What can I say? Let's continue with the mission. 250 kilometers. That's our altitude for circularization. Amazing. There we go. These I'm not going to deploy just yet because I think they'll crash into each other. So we're going to have to use electric from the main ship. Looking at Gale, it's looking fairly good. It's still in one piece. There we go. Whoa! Let's not use full thrust, maybe. Oh my god. Yeah, alright, interesting. Interesting that flexing. Very strong, very flexible ship. It will handle anything that's thrown at it. It looks good, I can say that. And I can't say that much else, but it does look good. And if we don't look at it like from the map view here, we can't see how horribly it's wobbling. So, you know, doesn't matter. 80 kilometers, yeah, that counts. Now let's find the direction we want to make it elliptical in the direction that the ejection angle is going to be, right? So we're going to eject them over this stretch of the Gale orbit. So we want our elliptical thing to happen that way. So we want to have it like almost at an escape angle, but not quite. And we don't want to be interfered with by our moons. So we're not going to go for something like this. Because then at some point we'll get a gravity assist from the moon and crash into either the moon or Gale. So we're going to put it at something like here, which is like 80% of the delta V already anyway. So that maneuver node happens in 10 minutes. It's only 800 meters per second, and I think we have... Yeah, our engines aren't the strongest, but also this burn doesn't matter the most. So we're just going to go like towards this maneuver node and fire our engines as best as we can and not worry too much about the exact shape of the orbit. Remember, this is a high parking orbit. This is not part of the insertion just yet. After we are in that high parking orbit, we shall have a look at how exactly how we want to deploy our satellites. And I think we're going to have quite a bit of fuel left over, so we can kick them out with the main rocket every time. We'll figure it out when we get there. For now, let's flex the noodle one more time. Get rid of the... Whoa, that's a exciting separation there. Yeah, so what I was going on about, this stage will have quite a lot of fuel left after putting us in this elevated parking orbit. The satellites themselves carry fuel, which is great, but we're not going to use it on... We're going to just accelerate the main ship to an escape vector, ditch the satellite, and then break the main ship again, because, you know, we've got the fuel to burn anyhow. That's my plan at any rate. Now we're still firing the lights, our electric is full, so everything is looking nominal for this ship. A bit of orbital debris there, but space is big, you know, it doesn't really matter. 340 meters per second to go on this burn, and then we get to go back to the map view to see how our constellation of drones is getting on. And it really is becoming a constellation of comm drones. And I wonder, I mean, I pretty much expect that it's not going to work exactly as planned, and definitely not past this one orbit. So we're basically using like 5 spaceships rather than improving one antenna, which feels very Kerbal to me. Right, so we are in our elliptical parking orbit. Do we still have a periapsis that's above the atmosphere? Yes, we do. And let's see, where is our other satellites at? So yeah, let's wait like Let's go to the initializer here. Let's wait, I think, like another 10 days, because we have to keep in mind that the follow-up satellites, they will get like a smaller orbit than the initializer itself. Otherwise, it's just going to lag behind it. So it's going to overtake it. So the first one needs the most lead time. So let's give that 40 days. Yeah, and then let's go back to the Behemoth, and we shall launch our first ComSat. The Behemoth, where are you? Fly it. I really hope this works. It will be awesome. Right, we are right at the wrong point of the orbit because we want to. Yeah, we want to go to the periapse, which is another 2 days. So that's 42 days, the magic number for everything, to fire off the first ComSat. So let's see, where are we in our orbit? Yeah, this is still shaped. This is actually shaped perfectly. So we shall fire out, and this is Telumo. So we want a slightly smaller orbit. Actually, we're encountering Telumo over there, so we want a little bit bigger orbit. We want we want to overtake Telumo, obviously, but not. Whoa, this is doing my head in. We want to end up here. Yeah, so that's a smaller orbit than it's. I mean, still is a bigger orbit than Telumo, but our other ships are also going on a bigger orbit. So this is the plan. 600 meters per second, happening in about 4 minutes. And actually, if that's 600, we might not be fully able to eject the 3 satellites with the mothership. But then again, the next batch of ships, the next batch of ComSats doesn't need to go into as high an energy orbit, because that needs a smaller one still. So let's fire that up. 660. Remember that for me. 660 meters per second to brake after doing this maneuver. More or less, or at least, we're just going to fire straight retrograde and watch the map view to see that we are dropping back into an elliptical orbit rather than a hyperbolic one. Keeping an eye on the fuel. Obviously, the last half of the fuel is going to give more delta V than the first half, and also we're going to get rid of one of the satellites, which will unbalance everything to hell, but also, of course, get rid of payload. So we may yet be able to do the plan. Always do the plan. Alright, that's close enough for my taste. And now we're going to disconnect one of these satellites. Let's see, are the batteries charged? Does this even have batteries? It does have batteries. Let's decouple this and switch to it. Here we go. Do we have RCS on it? We do not have RCS on it. So now we want to extend the solar panel. Obviously all of them. Because congrats, you're a free-flying satellite now. And also extending the antennae. Such a cool satellite, look at that. It's got instruments, it's got antennae, and it's got solar panels and an engine, obviously. Let's give that a brief test firing at like a minimum thrust level. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Activate the engine. Yeah, it works. See ya. Alright, so this ComSat is well on its way now. And I have my doubts. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's gonna follow like it's gonna follow the gray line. It might need to, be a little bit more faster. I'm firing the engine. Because here, and then I want another one here and here. Yeah. Alright. I'm pretending everything makes sense. back at the mothership. Of course, we want to brake before we actually leave the planet, because this thing is now on a escape velocity as well. Let's see if we can make this happen even though it's unbalanced. Yeah, the gimbals will be able to compensate. So we need to get rid of about 600 meters per second there. We can wave goodbye to the probe. There we go. The Behemoth 2 relay. It even names correctly. Oh my god, well done. That's like a piece of random debris. And looking at our speed gauge, we are just about dropping back into an elliptical orbit. As promised, we'll stare at the map view to confirm that that is actually what is happening. Do we still have enough fuel? We still have plenty of fuel. We can look at that hula hoop orbit. Yeah. Safely back into an elliptical orbit. We can probably make escape one more time, but then we might not be able to do it afterwards. So we'll see what happens anyway. Let's not stress overly much about it. Alright, so that's ComSat 1. So we go have a look at the Lumo initializer again, which is obviously carries our landers, and see if that thing can even make contact with it, if it even wants to make contact with it. So we're at 44 days now, and we kind of want to proceed further. So let me accelerate the time warping here. Oh, look at that! This is happening amazingly well. It is straight between them. Cool. I love that. Cool. Although we are still connected straight to Gale, but that's fine. We can pretend that it's... I mean, this thing will get closer to us before making it to Thellumo, which is fine. That's still fine. We will make it to Thellumo in 54 days. So let's give it like 5 more days and launch the second relay. Let's actually also check in on the ISPASat. See how that thing is doing. Yeah, that has no control at all. Those old antennae didn't do the trick, even with the relays. So unfortunately that didn't work. Let's verify that the Behemoth is functioning properly. That does have a good connection to Kerbin. So not Kerbin, obviously. Let's launch the second relay. And then not too long after, we're going to launch the third. And if we're going to launch both of them... Yeah, we're not going to launch them both at the same time. So, Periapsis is still outside the atmosphere. Let's warp there. Is our orbital shape still... Our orbital shape is still good. Except that it's not really... We have moved on. We want to... Let's see, we want to go in that direction a bit. Let's make our maneuver node. We want to go in that direction. And then do we want to go this fast? Probably not. We want to go a lot slower. So, how do we solve that? Basically just by burning in that direction. What does our orbit look like this way? Where is our orbit? It's that one. So yeah, we're gonna do this. Look, this is the relay one, and then we're gonna be I have no idea what I'm doing now. We basically need this. How is this 1,000? That's not great. That's a straight ejection in the wrong way. Alright, we don't need that. Then we better go from here. Yeah, see, that's not going to be 1,000. 800. Alright. It's not going to matter overly much anyway. 27 minutes for this node. There we are at the node. Firing the engines just a little bit. Full thrust. Now we're missing out on a bit of the O-burst effect, courtesy of burning further away from the planet. But we are going to make it. Also, I don't think we're going to make a stop reverse and another ejection with this. So we're going to do the 700 meters per second with the mothership, and then probably just drop it back into extreme elliptic range, or accelerate it further and make it a really fast one, or drop it back a little bit. Anyway, let's we'll do it now anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. So our orbit now is here. So once these guys reach, yeah, so we drop one now and then boost the other one a little bit higher. So that one, no, we need to boost it higher first because the lower one will go faster. So yeah, boost this one higher. I'm aiming for this point, right? I want to have this line like here somewhere. Alright, that's made the decision for me because the thing has run out of juice. So let's deploy one of the relays, which we shall switch to. Just a little bit of engine thrust, hopefully not enough to... it doesn't matter if you wreck it really, because, you know, it's out of juice. So we're going to extend its solar panels, and we're going to use this engine to, you know, increase the orbit of this one. Extend the antennas. The solar panels have been extended already. I wonder why is... Oh, we are looking at a big eclipse even from a while from a distance. Cool. So, yeah. I waited too long with this one. I wanted it on this angle, which is a different ship. That is the Kerbali. That's not helping our network. So that didn't went so well, unfortunately. So what I'm gonna do is this one is gonna burn its full engine, and actually we might burn it this way. Yeah, we burn it this way for the remainder of its thing. The remainder of its fuel. Oh my god, I can't really speak so well anymore. And then the other one will be in a lower orbit, a lower and faster orbit. Sorry. And we'll get a relay situation going at some point. I think this will do just well. Can we still switch back? We can't switch back anymore. We'll have to use the map view for that, which we will. No problems there. Behemoth 2. I want to switch to the Behemoth 2, not relay. We're too close. We have to visit the tracking station to do that. And oh my god, there's so many comm lines over there. It doesn't really matter, but let's disconnect the satellite from the main ship anyway, just, you know, for posterity's sake. Oh, not that one. I want to control this one. Give it a small blip of throttle. Let's see if we actually can damage the thing. Well, it's listing a little bit, but it's not really damaged. Let's extend the antenna. Obviously also the solar panel for when that eclipse lets up. And that's that for our relay network. I think this is about the best we can do here. Let's switch to the initializer and see if we can retain communications until we actually meet with the Lumo. Our periapsis is... oh shit, I didn't take the chance to... Maybe I can do it now. I wanted to burn at the ascending and descending node to optimize my encounter, which I forgot, so I'll try and do it now. Let's see, our signal strength through the KSC has deteriorated to 61%. The relay network is not currently being used, so this whole endeavor may have been for nothing, but at least we have a whole bunch of spaceships that are flying through space in somewhat choreography, in a somewhat coordinated fashion, like a choreography. And it is still working out pretty nicely to reduce our periapsis here. That's going fairly well. It's 100. That's like 90,000 kilometers. That's not a lot. That's a good periapsis. 60,000. Yeah, we can definitely work with that. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, let's time warp forwards and cross my fingers, hope to die that I hope that we will manage this. Yeah, we are still just connecting to the harvester massive, the Gale. That's 13%. We might still make it. We might still make it, but our relays are not helping. Even though I gotta give credit to myself, this is pretty much exactly how I had it in mind. Of course, a straight line would have been much more amazing, but this is pretty amazing already. If this would have worked, if the antenna ranges would have supported it, it would have worked pretty well. But they don't. Anyway, we still have 6% signal strength. That's gonna last. We're gonna be able to do the landing with that, which we will in a next episode because we're running out of time here. Yeah, and that will see us try to, make a orbital relay. Finally, a relay that will work, and drop landers onto Luma. Hopefully, that will work out as planned. Until then, see you later. I'm Lorenzo. Do make that ship for this contract, the way I said in the beginning. And for now, ooh, we have something. Ooh, a flyby of the Luma. We have some more money for this ship. All right, that's it. No big goodbyes. See you next time. Ciao.